You mentioned how well Garrett has played against the Bengals. This gives a little bit of context. At least one sack against the Bengals in 6 straight games. And I know you've addressed this on your Locked On Browns podcast. Browns' new defensive line, it sure seems like everything's set up to have a pretty big day against the Bengals, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, you go back to this. Last year, Taven Bryant was second on the team in sacks with 3. Well, you brought in Za'Darius Smith. You brought in Agbo Okoronkwo. Both of those guys had more than 3 sacks last year. Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, they both had 2.5. Guess what? They would have been 3rd on this team in sacks last year. And again, the guys you've moved out, Chase Winovich is a practice squad player. Tommy Togiai just got released from a practice squad. So these guys that you're moving on from, it shows how big the gap and the talent gap is from what you had here last year as opposed to what you have here for this year. Look, it's always eaten well against this Bengals team. And, to be even, to take those Myles Garrett numbers, in the 1-4 that Joe Burrow is against the Cincinnati Bengals, Myles Garrett has had almost 2 sacks a game. He has 9 sacks in those 5 games. He has 30 total pressures in those games. Those are monster numbers. He knows his franchise. He knows it inside out. And the Bengals, as much as everybody was, we brought in Orlando Brown Jr. Orlando Brown Jr. is a very, very decorated right tackle in the NFL. Yes, he's played a lot of left tackle. But left tackle, he's not the same guy he is on the right side. And we've seen him on the left side. We've seen him on the left side down in Baltimore playing against Myles Garrett. And those days were not good. So now you're going to do that. Now you got to add some help to Orlando Brown on Myles Garrett if he's out there. And you're creating one-on-ones for players like Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Za'Darius Smith, and Agbo Okoronkwo. It's, and to keep in mind, all of it is, Joe Burrow, yes, he's ready to go, all of that stuff. We all thought he was going to be good to go. But, he wouldn't have played in the preseason anyway. That's not the way Bengals do business. But you're coming back against one of the most difficult defensive lines that you're most likely going to face the entire season. So, healthy or not, that's not going to be the question. The problem is going to be there's going to be people in his face all day long.